Why can't you just do this one thing for me? That's how it started. My mom stood in the doorway of my room, her voice sharp, arms folded like she was gearing up for a fight. Victor was right behind her, leaning against the wall with that smirk that always makes me feel small. I told you already, I'm not babysitting, I said, not even looking up from my desk. Victor laughed under his breath. Unbelievable. Your mom bends over backward for you, and you can't even help out with kids for a couple of hours? What a selfish teenager. That word, selfish, landed like a slap. I spun around in my chair. Selfish? You don't even talk to me unless you're criticizing me. You don't know me. You don't even try. He straightened up, eyes narrowing. I don't try? You're the one sitting in here hiding from real life, acting like everything's too much work. You can't handle children? You can't handle anything. No wonder your mom is exhausted. The words stung worse than I wanted to admit. And the worst part? My mom didn't defend me. She didn't say a word. She just stood there, letting him tear into me like it was nothing. I snapped. You want to know why I don't help? Because I'm not your built-in babysitter. I'm not your free maid. And I'm not going to be the punching bag for both of you whenever you're stressed. The room went quiet for a second, and then my mom's voice cut through, low and sharp. Watch your tone. You don't get to disrespect Victor in my house. I froze. Her house? That one sentence told me everything. I wasn't her child in that moment. I was just an obstacle between her and him. The fight spiraled from there. Voices raised, insults thrown. I remember saying things I'd held inside for months. How she ignored me. How she gave Victor's kids more love in a weekend than I got in a year. How she only came to me when she wanted advice or a babysitter, never when she wanted to actually be my mom. She told me I was dramatic, that I twisted everything into some tragedy to get attention. She even said, maybe if you weren't so difficult, Victor wouldn't have to be so hard on you. That line cut deep. I didn't even know how to answer. Mateo was sitting in the living room during all of this. When I stormed out of my room, he was staring at me with wide eyes, clutching his game controller like it was a shield. He whispered, "Stop yelling, please." And for a moment, guilt washed over me. But I couldn't stop. The words kept spilling out. I told her she chose Victor over me. I told her that she used to promise she'd never let a man come between us. But here we were. I told Victor he was a stranger in our house, and no matter how much he tried, he'd never be my dad. He stepped closer, and for a second, I thought he was going to scream in my face. My chest tightened. But then he laughed, this cold, mocking laugh, and said, "Good luck in the real world. Nobody's going to put up with you there either." I wanted to disappear. That night, the silence was louder than the fight. No one said goodnight. No one knocked on my door. It was like I had been erased. The next morning, I came into the kitchen, and Victor's kids were sitting at the table, eating pancakes my mom had made. She was laughing with them, pouring syrup like it was the most normal Saturday in the world. She didn't even glance at me when I grabbed a piece of toast and left. I sat in my room eating dry bread, wondering how it had come to this. The tension hasn't gone away. If anything, it's worse. Every time I walk into the room, I feel like an intruder. Victor talks over me, like my words don't matter. My mom acts like she doesn't hear me at all. Mateo avoids everyone, hiding in his room or outside with his bike. The other night, I overheard my mom and Victor in the kitchen. She was whispering, but I caught pieces of it. They need to learn respect. Can't let them think they run this house. Maybe some time away will teach them. I don't know if she meant me, but it felt like she did. And the irony? In a few months, I am leaving. I'll be gone for a whole year. At first, I was excited. New country, new people, a break from everything here. Now I'm scared, not of leaving, but of what I'll come back to. Will my mom even want me home? Or will Victor and his kids already have taken my place? I keep replaying the fight in my head. His insults, her silence, my words, sharp and heavy, finally spilling out after being bottled for too long. The silence wasn't just silence anymore. It felt like the air itself in the house had grown heavy, pressing down on me with every step I took. A week passed before my mom reached out, and even then, it wasn't her voice, it wasn't her eyes, it was a flat message on my phone. "If you want to stay under my roof, you need to respect my relationship. No greeting. No, I love you. Just a warning." I stared at those words until the letters blurred. My throat tightened, but no tears came out. It was like my body had already run out of them weeks ago. Mateo walked in then, dragging his socks on the kitchen floor. He looked at my screen, then at me. His voice was a whisper, as if the walls themselves might be listening. "She only texts you because she's scared to say it out loud." I wanted to hug him for saying that, but I just nodded. He doesn't deserve to carry this weight either. He's only 11. That night, she finally spoke to me face to face. I'd built up this small hope that maybe she'd sit me down and ask how I was feeling, that maybe she'd say she missed me. But no, she didn't apologize. She didn't ask if I was okay. She just said, "I need you to at least pretend to get along with Victor. For peace. That's all I'm asking." Her words stung, because peace sounded more like silence, like she was telling me to swallow everything I felt and just keep quiet. I told her it wasn't fair. That pretending meant lying to myself. She sighed, the kind of sigh that makes you feel like you're the problem, and said she didn't know how to balance everyone anymore. Balance, as if my existence was tipping her life too far in one direction. The next morning, things got worse. Victor's kids had heard us arguing. The younger one, a sweet girl with big, curious eyes, pulled me aside when no one was looking. "Do you not like us?" she asked softly, like she was bracing herself for me me to say yes. My heart sank. That wasn't what I wanted at all. I knelt down and told her gently that it wasn't about her or her brother. It was about the grown-ups, about how they treated me. She nodded, but I could see the doubt in her eyes, the way kids carry guilt even when it's not theirs to carry. Later, my mom confronted me, her tone sharp. They told me you don't want them here. Do you realize how uncomfortable you're making this for children? They feel unwanted because of you. I tried to explain what actually happened. I told her I reassured her daughter that I never said I didn't want them here, but she didn't believe me. Or maybe she didn't care. She crossed her arms and said, I have to choose stability for them. They deserve that. And in that moment, it felt like she was saying, they deserve me. You don't. Dinner that night was unbearable. Mateo kept his eyes down, pushing food around his plate. Victor's kids chatted about their school, their friends, their new sneakers my mom had bought. She laughed with them, poured them extra juice, asked about their favorite shows. Not once did she look at me. I wanted to scream just to remind her I was sitting at the same table. Instead, I stayed quiet. Mateo barely touched his meal, and I could see his jaw tight, his small hands clenched under the table. A few nights later, they went out to dinner without me. My mom, Victor, and his kids. I didn't even know they were leaving until I heard the door slam. I sat there in the empty living room, staring at the flickering light from the TV. The couch felt too big, the room too hollow. It hit me that I wasn't just being excluded, I was being replaced. That realization sat in my chest like a stone. The next morning, I found a note on the counter. Not for me, for Victor's kids. It said, so proud of you, love you always. Have a great day at school, with a smiley face drawn at the end. I can't remember the last time she wrote me a note like that. The tension kept building. One afternoon, I heard Victor talking to my mom in the kitchen. His voice was low but sharp. You can't let them run this house. They need to learn respect. If they don't, they'll walk all over you. Maybe some time away will fix that. I froze in the hallway. Was he talking about me? The way my mom didn't argue back told me everything. That night, she didn't come to my room. She didn't check on me, didn't say goodnight, but she did stop by Mateo's door. I heard her voice soften, heard her promise she'd make it up to him. For me, nothing. Every day since then, it feels like I'm being pushed further out of the picture. She'll send me short texts like, take out the trash or keep it down. But no, how are you? No warmth. The house feels divided into two worlds now. On one side, my mom, Victor, his kids, laughter, dinners, plans. On the other side, me and Mateo, whispering to each other in our rooms, clinging to whatever closeness we can keep. The silence between me and my mom isn't just silence anymore. It's a wall that keeps growing brick by brick, with every text instead of a conversation, every ignored glance, every moment she chooses them over me. And the closer I get to leaving for my year abroad, the more it feels like I'm not just leaving the country. I'm leaving behind a family that already decided they don't need me. I thought going away would give me space to breathe. Now, I'm terrified that when I come back, there won't be a place for me here at all.
Not AITA. You set a boundary after being treated like unpaid staff, and your pushback was justified. My take? Your mom's silence felt louder than Victor's insults, which says everything about where her loyalty is leaning. If refusing to be walked over makes you selfish, then selfishness is survival. The real kicker is how your mom labels obedience as peace, when it's really just your silence she craves. In my view, you defended your dignity, so you're not in the wrong. Before we jump into the next story, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know your favorite part in the comment.
Story 2.
Wow. You really don't care, do you? That's what Lena said last night, her voice sharp enough to cut through the darkness. I was already under the blanket, eyes closed, half asleep, when she sat up and started in. I mumbled something like, can we talk tomorrow? And that's when she hit me with those words. I opened my eyes, heavy with exhaustion, and she was sitting on the edge of the bed, staring down at me like I had just insulted her. You'd rather sleep than listen to me? That says everything. I rubbed my face, trying to keep calm, but frustration boiled inside me. It's not about not listening, Lena.
I'm exhausted. I've worked all day.
We've been together all evening. Why does it always have to be right when I'm about to fall asleep? She crossed her arms. Because that's when I feel like talking. That's when things come to me. But I guess your sleep is more important than me. That cut deep. Not because it was true, but because she knew exactly how to make me feel guilty. This isn't new. It's been years of the same pattern. Every night, just as my body gives into rest, she wants to unload. Sometimes it's about her stressful day. Sometimes about her parents. Sometimes about what she fears for the future. I don't dismiss those things. They matter, but the timing breaks me down. The fights over this are piling up. A few nights ago, it escalated worse than ever. She started venting about her job while I was lying flat on my back, eyes closed. I said softly, please, can we do this in the morning? Her response? She laughed bitterly. You're pathetic. You can't even stay awake for me. Do you know how lonely that makes me feel? That word, pathetic, burned. I sat up, heart pounding, and snapped snapped back. Don't call me pathetic just because I need sleep. I've asked you 100 times. Why can't you bring this up an hour earlier? She shot back immediately. Because you never ask me how I feel when it matters. You rush through dinner. You scroll on your phone when we're on the couch, and when I finally want to talk, you shut me down. It turned into a shouting match, right there in the dark. Accusations flying back and forth. I told her she was being inconsiderate. She told me I was cold and selfish. I told her she was manipulative for waiting until I was at my weakest. She told me maybe I wasn't cut out for a real relationship. The words hung in the air like smoke. I lay back down, staring at the ceiling, too angry to sleep, too tired to keep arguing. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened, made coffee, hummed while getting ready for work. Meanwhile, I was dragging myself through the day, barely holding my eyes open. When I mentioned how late we'd been up arguing, she rolled her eyes. Oh, please, don't make it sound dramatic.
Couples talk.
Couples fight. You'll survive. But that's the thing. I'm not sure how much longer I can survive this cycle. I've tried everything. I've suggested we set aside 30 minutes after dinner, just us, no phones, to talk about anything on her mind. She shrugged and said she didn't like scheduled conversations. I offered to take a walk with her in the evenings so she'd have my full attention. She said she was too tired at that time. I even told her she could write things down and we could go through them in the morning over breakfast. She laughed in my face. You want me to write my feelings on a list? What am I, your coworker sending you a memo? It feels like I can't win. And it's not just tiredness anymore. It's humiliation. When she throws words like selfish and pathetic at me, it sticks. I carry it into the next day, into work, into every quiet moment. I've caught myself thinking, maybe I am selfish. Maybe she's right. But then another part of me screams back, no, I'm just asking for a boundary. A small one. 1 hour of peace to fall asleep in my own bed. The irony? She sleeps in until late morning. She can stay up for hours after me, watching shows or scrolling through her phone. I don't nag her for that. I don't interrupt her when she's winding down. But the second I try to rest, I'm expected to become her midnight therapist. It's gotten to the point where I dread bedtime. Instead of feeling relief when I brush my teeth and climb under the blanket, I tense up, waiting for the questions, the sighs, the accusations. My body is ready for rest, but my brain is on edge. I've started lying awake, pretending to sleep just to avoid a fight. Sometimes she notices and shakes my shoulder. Don't fake it. I know you're awake. That hurts the most, because it means she knows I'm trying to escape, and she won't let me. I don't know what else to do. I love her, but I feel trapped in this nightly cycle of exhaustion and guilt. She sees my need for rest as rejection. I see her timing as a lack of respect. So I'm stuck asking strangers, am I really wrong for wanting quiet at the end of the day? Am I wrong for setting a boundary in my own bed? Or am I, like she says, just being selfish? Because if this keeps going, I'm scared I'll start resenting her in ways I can't take back.
Not AITA. Needing uninterrupted rest isn't selfish, it's survival fuel. My red? Lena's pattern weaponizes timing, turning your fatigue into leverage. Calling you pathetic for setting a basic limit is manipulative, not loving. You already tried multiple compromises, and she dismissed every option. That suggests the issue isn't sleep, it's control. My suggestion, stop doubting yourself because your boundary is healthy. She's the one refusing balance, so you're not the villain here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a story to share? Drop it in the comments and let us know which one was your favorite. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely want to check out AITA for asking my dad to repay promised medical bills. Click here to watch it now.